minutes last night, Skip, and he's going to have the ball some. So he's not going to have the ball like he did when he led the league in assists. I don't believe he's going to have the ball in his hands as much. But all I need guys to make shots. If they just make the shots, we'll still average, even though we won't have the ball as much, we'll still be somewhere around eight assists tonight, which we can live with.
But what you can't live with was he was as hot-handed, LeBron, as you'll ever see him for much of the game until it was time. And when it was time, I just showed you the 4 misses that were crucial to the outcome of the game. And I'm going to remind you again, you're up 2 going to the 4th quarter at home. Who should take that home? The king should, the quote-unquote GOAT, unless he's the phony GOAT. If he's the GOAT, you should take that game home against a Steph Curry who is struggling mightily.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What did Steph wind up in the
5 of 21. He was 5 of 21 overall. 2 of 8 from 3.
Okay, 4th quarter, Steph is 1 of 3. He scored 5 points, so he wasn't doing any Steph-like damage to you.
No,
so it's up to LeBron. Take it home.
Yeah.
And he just kept doing what he'd been doing the whole game, which was hot-handed shooting, turnarounds, fall-aways, and threes. And he misses 4 crucial ones that get you right back in the game.
Still had 9 points.
Well, he did. He made 2 threes, so I'm going to give you that. But when you shot 6 in the 4th quarter alone, you averaged a career high 6.3 attempts per game last year.
8.3 this year.
Okay, well, I'm just showing you why he deserved a C, and I think I just closed the case.
No,
I think you agree with me. That was a C effort.
No.
Start to finish, that was a C by the GOAT.
No, it was a B minus.
Yeah.
But I remember I gave Brady, even though he threw 2 picks, I said, you know what? After that performance,
what did he do? When it was time, unfortunately, my team left 1:24 on the clock, and he goated them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, did LeBron goat this game?
But here's the thing.
You'd have me if he goated it.
But here's the thing, Skip. The thing is with Brady, if guys are dropping back, remember Giselle saying, my husband can't throw it, ain't catch it. Guys
It was a great line, actually.
Guys still have to catch the football.
That was after the second Eli.
It ended.
Yep.
In other words, in order for LeBron to get an assist, guys have to make the shot.
Okay, I got it, but it's upside down right now because he's the one. What were your opening remarks in this show? Buddy Hield, you had the deal in place.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield will make. He is a clutch 3-point shooter because he was in his days at University of Oklahoma.
Right.
And so if you got Buddy Hield making clutch threes and LeBron orchestrating from the top, you got something.
Right.
Or if you want Rondo to try to bring him, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Have LeBron on a wing and Buddy Hield on a wing. Now you've got something. Maybe when Ellington gets right and he's back in, maybe that will help a little bit. I don't know that Kendrick Nunn is a deadly 3-point shooter, but he's a scorer.
Yeah, and he can play defense.
He can.
At the end of the night, Skip, that's where they lost the game. It wasn't the shots, Skip, because you scored 29, but you gave up 38.
38 in the 4th quarter. You're just running out of gas.
So that's the difference in the ball game. It wasn't you scored 29 points. Skip, if you average 29 points a quarter, you're gonna win a lot of ball games.
Yeah.
But not if you give up 38 a quarter.
Yeah. And they have 3 guys in the 4th quarter score 7, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 21 points right there. And it's Jordan Poole, and it's Bielitsa, and it's Damian Lee.
Yeah.
Okay, who knew?
Right.
Okay, those are your stars of the night.
And they gave up, Skip, they gave up 3 quarters, 3 of the 4 quarters, they gave up 32 in the first, 30 in the third, and 38 in the fourth. That's defense. That ain't got nothing to do with assists. You go, if anybody gonna guard anybody?
C. I give LeBron a C. Go do some more homework, LeBron. Go work on your free throws, LeBron.
That's all right. I'm gonna win the bet though.
Yeah, what bet?
73%.
75%.
Nah, don't start dragging it up now.
Well, right now he's at the big 5-0.
He won't be that long.
Yeah.
All right, 80% come after a Friday game.
Yeah, okay.
You're trying to convince yourself, bro?
Russ probably have like 20, 28, and 6 on Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
We might get some dew on that.
Yeah, we might have to. No mercy. Cowboys safety DeMonte Kazee was arrested early Tuesday morning for a DWI in a Dallas suburb. This came just hours after Mike McCarthy told the media that he'd advised his team to avoid any distractions and being smart during their bye week, adding, quote, "They deserve this break. I have a lot of confidence and a lot of trust in those guys." Shannon, if you were Kazee's teammate, how upset would you be?
I'd be very frustrated.
Yep.
Because the thing that I've always left with all the guys before we go on a break, don't be the guy. Don't you be the reason that we come back and we have to address the issues that we should have that's not football related. And DeMonte Kazee is that guy.
Yes.
He's the guy. for whatever reason. Now, Skip, I don't know, and I'm assuming, I feel very comfortable. The Cowboys probably have a service that if you've been drinking, you can call this service.
I'm sure they do.
And with Jerry, I know Jerry don't care. Skip, when we win, especially you winning now, there's not anything that Jerry wouldn't give to these players. They're winning. Hell, he give them too much and they be losing. Skip, when we were winning, there's not anything that we couldn't ask for Mike Shanahan, our head coach, and he wouldn't get. Mike, we want to watch the fight. Got the fight. Mike, we want to clown juggling riding the unicycle before practice. We got it. So just, and I know, Skip, sometimes players are like hesitant. Man, I don't want them to know that I've been out drinking. Well, what the hell you think they're going to think when you get a DUI? That's it. And Skip, you know the thing is, it's hard. Skip, when you got a nice ride, you got a Range Rover, you got a Mazda, you got an Aston Martin. The honey, they need to see me in this. I can't pull up in no car service. Then you don't know I got that whip. I need to pull up and you need to see me get up out of this.
True. All too true.
Bro, come on. How many times? Forget the fact what you could have done to yourself, but what about what you could have done to someone else? It has happened. The Cowboys have had players. Josh Brent killed his teammate because he was a DUI. I think they had another DB that ended up killing someone, Goodrich or Goodman or something, a DB, Skip.
Yeah.
How many times must it happen before you like, the athlete's mentality, Skip, it ain't gonna happen to me.
I remember the great Eric Williams.
Yeah, Big Easy.
Yeah.
He might have been their best offensive lineman. I was Larry Allen. But Skip, Easy, you know, you was there with Eric Williams. I played with Easy.
I was on the flight back, the team plane back. It's a long flight, and there's a little sipping going on, and then you're going to drive home.
Yeah.
And you know the rest of the story, and it derailed his career.
It did derail his career, and they stopped serving. I mean, on our plane.
He had a wreck. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
But Skip, they stopped serving the players alcohol for the very reason because the player ended up having a little too much.
Well,
he ended up getting.
that did it with the Cowboys. That was the end of that. But then they would smuggle on.
Yeah, they did smuggle it on, Skip. But the thing is that you always say you're playing so well. There's so much positivity going on with the Cowboys. There's so much good that you can talk about. And now Mike McCarthy is going to have to come back and he's going to have to address this. And the players are like, bro, we just told you, don't be the guy. And here you are, you're the guy.
Yeah. So McCarthy had just said that this is the day before, that he told the team as they went on break, we're not going to practice all week, but he said, I talked to them about distractions, what we don't want. We have an outstanding season going.
Yes.
Make sure that everybody is taking care of themselves and spend as much time as they can with family and friends. I have no issue with Kazee going out and having drinks. If he wants to drink to excess, that's fine with me.
Right.
No problem at all.
Right.
Blow off a little steam, but you gotta use a car service.
Yes.
If you have to Uber, you have to Uber, and I don't care what the honeys think or don't think, because you owe this to your football team. You have a responsibility to your football team.
Yes.
And you said you would be very frustrated as a teammate.
I'm like, bro, why?
I was very frustrated as a diehard, lifelong fan last night when I heard this, and it's not the end of the world. It's just the start of the end of the world.
Right.
You know, it's just, it's a player who didn't take it seriously enough that he's part of a united front here that's 5-1, and it's moving forward, and he is that guy. It's a little big thing.
Hey, why you celebrating? You the one that gave him the touchdown that almost cost you the game. What the hell are you celebrating? You should have been just drinking water.
He made the biggest mistake of the game. He canceled out Trevon Diggs' pick six on the next play by taking the worst possible. It's like he couldn't even see the ball because
he might have been drunk on the field. If he took an angle like that.
I don't know. So just to be clear about this, just to have some perspective and to be fair about it, I wrote books about Tom Landry's Cowboys and I wrote books about Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys. And both of those teams, in many ways, led the league in hell-raising and law-breaking, especially God's coach, Tom Landry. That's the name of my first book. Those teams just were completely out of control, and I'll just throw out a few names. Hollywood Henderson, who I knew very well, who actually played Super Bowl 13 with a vial of cocaine attached to the back of his pants. It's you know,
halftime. Huh?
Yeah, well, between series, he's over on the bench using his cocaine. And again, you'll have to look these up for longtime fans. They might know, but Lance Rensel and Raphael Septien, it was just...
Raphael Septien might have been the worst.
It might have been the worst. Lance Rensel wasn't much
he wasn't.
Trust me. Then we go to the 90s Cowboys, and obviously our friend Michael Irvin, and then Nate Newton, and we just talked about Eric Williams. We can go on and on. So they all had their problems, but they were supremely talented football teams.
Right.
And they had that switch they could flip when it was time.
Right.
They just played, and they played at supremely high talent levels.
Right.
And they won Super Bowls, obviously in the 70s and the 90s. So I'm not trying to be hypocritical about this year's team, but this is different. This is new. They're on the verge. They're just trying to figure it out. I don't think many people saw this coming. Nobody saw 5-1. Even I didn't think it would be 5-1.
No, they didn't.
So you have to cherish it, you have to respect it,
Right.
and you have to honor and protect it.
Right.
And you can't start with this
Right.
on the first night out after you're on a big break where you don't even have to go to the facility all week. And what do? It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're on Highway 121 in the next suburb over from Cowboy headquarters, and that happened.
Right.
You're pulled over and you fail a field sobriety
But damn,
test.
Skip, that's the Cowboy. I mean, I thought everybody loved the Cowboys in Dallas. You supposed to be.
You know what? That is the problem. What if I always told you about Dallas, Texas, and I lived there for whatever it was, 17 years?
Yeah.
It is Hollywood, Texas. It can be. I know Las Vegas is Sin City. Dallas can be Sin City,
Right.
too, if you're a Dallas Cowboy, because I still believe, and I know Denver's up there in hero worship of the Broncos,
Yeah.
as you well know. And a lot of people think Washington hero worships its football players, and we can go on and on. Everybody gets, it felt to me, because I've traveled and covered games in all these cities, Dallas puts its players on a pedestal unlike any other city. So you know what that means?
Yeah.
Temptations are great because everybody wants to see and be seen rubbing elbows with a Dallas Cowboy. And they will do anything for a Dallas. What do you need? What do you want? I can get you this, I can get you that, I can get you this. But whatever you want, I'll get it for you. And you know and I know that is a recipe for disaster.
Well, you might should have told him, because he looked at it like, man, you too little to be a Cowboy. You ain't no Cowboy player.
He's 175.
You're right. They're like, man, you ain't no Cowboy player. What position you play? Nah, you ain't no Cowboy player. We got to take care of me.
Well,
But why? First of all, hold on. You said they got the whole week off? Mike, you owe me some time. We wasn't getting the whole week off.
Really?
Hell no. You had to practice. You got Monday, Tuesday off. You practice Wednesday. We practice half a day Thursday.
Really?
Yeah, yes. You thought we got the whole week? You talking from Monday all the way to Monday? Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think it's Monday through Friday, no practice. So
That wasn't
you
happening.
can go wherever you want to go.
That was not happening. We got 4 days.
All right. And I'm also worried about COVID because it's still out there. You got to be careful.
Yes.
This is where you sort of leave your little bubble, whatever it is.
And you drop your guard.
I know.
I mean, you got to have you basically, you're like, look here. You got to just keep it locked down until after the season. Hopefully the season ends like we wanted to end. And then, hey, Skip, I ain't gonna lie to you. Win the Super Bowl, I'm throwing caution to the wind.
Yep. So,
ain't no sense to be lying, Skip.
up there in Minneapolis, Jenny's Vikings they're just kind of saying, interesting.
Waiting.
Go for the
Patiently
cousin.
waiting.
First cousin been dealing, Skip.
Yeah, he's been dealing.
We could give him
Yep.
that. We've had some ups and downs this season, but maybe we've turned a corner. It's kind of the life of a Vikings fan. I'm used to it by now. And, Skip, maybe we'll have a bet in a couple weeks. I don't know. We'll see about how confident I'm feeling.
Oh, you said it with Jinx proof. Remember you said that with Jinx?
I just need to know if my quarterback is going to be able
You
to.
jinxed
I
it.
understand that.
jinx
Yes, he got a calf injury.
I don't.
Remember you was
I
talking
didn't do
about-
that.
Yeah, you do. They jinxed.
I just said they're going to win. Did
No,
they
you
win?
said-
Yes.
they jinxed proof.
Did I
They
jinx
got
their
it
victory?
done.
I said, Skip, you gonna jinx him. Stop
I
talking
did
about
not.
No
And now you look at
jinxes
your
around
league.
here. The Lakers' opening night wasn't as smooth as they have liked. After leading for all 3 quarters, the wheels kind of came off for LA in the 4th as the Warriors went on to win 121-114. LeBron and AD both had over 30 points, but Westbrook finished with only 8 points in his Lakers debut. And afterward, LeBron said he's not worried at all about Russ, chalking it up to, quote, first game jitters. We're now joined by First Things First co-host Chris Broussard. So, Chris, how do you explain Westbrook's poor start here?
Jen, I think it's simple. For the first time in Russell Westbrook's 13-year career, one of 2 things was not true. He didn't have the ball in his hands primarily, so he wasn't able to be ball dominant, do what he wants, and have everybody around him play off him. Or the lane was not open. The one time in his career where he didn't have the ball in his hands, he was in Houston, right? And Harden had the ball. What did the Rockets do? They traded away Clint Capella, their center, so the lane would be wide open. All right, so Russ, even though he didn't have the ball, at least when he got it, he could drive. All right, last night the lane was clogged. You saw those highlights. Golden State had several defenders in the paint, or Dwight Howard or DeAndre Jordan or Anthony Davis was in the paint, so Russ didn't have the driving lanes. And those are tough adjustments to make when you can't shoot. And Russ can't shoot. And so they can talk all they want. And LeBron said it, and Frank Vogel said it after the game. We want Russ to be Russ. We want Russ to be aggressive. Russ being Russ is having the ball in his hands, right? And everybody playing off him. That's not what's best for the Lakers. The Lakers are smart. We see LeBron is doing what he does, and he's got the ball for the most part. That's good for the Lakers. The best way for the Lakers to play is through LeBron and AD, and everybody else, including Russ, you get yours off of them. And they're going to have to figure out how to play off of LeBron and AD because that's what's best for the team. Guys, look, this big three, it is a big three. I expect Russ to be named onto this all top 75 players of all time team within the next 2 days. So it's a big three, but they're all not going to average 20 or more points. And Russ is going to be the one that's out.
Yeah.
I think Russ might average 17 points, maybe even 16 points a game. And he's going to have to adjust to being the third fiddle. And now, when he and LeBron, I think they need to stagger their minutes. Let Russ have that second unit, then he can be Russ. And then when LeBron's out there with him, he can get his, push it in transition, get early offense. But in the half court, it's got to kind of be LeBron's decision making. So that's what I think needs to happen. And if Russ can accept that, then it can eventually work over time as they get used to each other. But if he can't, if he's like, man, I got to get my numbers, I got to shine, just as much as LeBron and AD or close to it at least, then it could be problematic.
I agree with everything you said, but I also believe he was pumped up. I mean, he grew up in L.A., purple and gold Lakers. If you grew up in L.A., Lakers is it. He saw the parades, he saw the championships, he saw Shaq and Kobe.
Yep.
So that's, he knows that. So now I'm here. I'm in purple and gold. I'm the starting point guard, even though it might be a name-only skill, but I'm starting for my hometown team. That means a lot to him. And we already know that Russ plays close to the edge. He plays on a mission.
He has last night.
Right.
Yeah.
He's always been bull and childish on those
Yeah.
skips. So he's always playing, but he can't play like that now because for the first time in his career, he has two guys that are better than him. Russ has never been the third option. Russ has never been the third best player. I don't believe at any level he's ever played where he's the third best player on his team.
He might have been in OKC early on, but he wouldn't know that. His heart was coming off the bench.
Treat him like he was second.
Yes.
Right. So,
yes.
and so that's, and you're right, but it's going to be difficult. It is hard. Skip, it's hard when you played one way. I take myself, Skip, being in Denver, knowing I'm going to get 5, 6, 7 targets a game, and then going to Baltimore knowing that I might get 1, might get 2.
But you can be big play Shea. So your ego is okay.
That was it.
Right?
Skip.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, when I get my opportunity, Chris, I just got to cash it in. I'm not going to get these opportunities where I get a chance to get a 100-yard game because John is feeding me the ball. We're a running team. We're playing for 1 to 2 plays a game, and we're going to turn it over to our defense. But you have to be willing to accept that
But your
role.
ego is still intact.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're fine because you're going to get your big play Shea play.
Because,
right?
Skip, I felt that if me winning a championship would do more for my resume than me putting up numbers, because I know I could put up numbers, but I've always put up numbers.
Yep.
Winning a championship, because now I'm winning a championship and I don't have John as my quarterback, I don't have Mike Shanahan as my head coach.
Yep.
So that's going to be saying something about, okay, well, he possesses leadership skills. But I just think Russ is going to have to find a way, like you said. I believe the second unit stagger their minutes, and Russ is going to have to accept, I'm not going to be the Russell of old. I'm not going to be Russ in OKC. I'm not going to be him in Houston. I'm not going to be him with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
4 of the last 5 years, triple-double, Skip, that's a thing of the past. And I think he's going to have to accept that. I think 15, 7, and 7 might be more realistic. Might be something that I think is attainable for him, Chris. But AD and
he did not, because these are adjectives I never thought I would associate with Russell Westbrook, because he had to show the world last night, watch this, I can defer to LeBron, I can sacrifice, and he did for the most part, and it was kind of hard to watch because his body language was so unsure of what he was doing. And when he did drive it, he drove it sort of 75%ish, and then he's begging for calls that he's not going to get because it didn't look like the same old Russ going to the hoop, right?
And another thing, Chris, there's no way Anthony Davis can play damn near 39 minutes and not have a foul. That's unacceptable. How you play 39 minutes and you don't have one foul? You mean to tell me you ain't had one person, you didn't run over one person, you didn't get one charge? I need more. I need more out of AD. Because I know he got it in him too. He gonna give me more. Guess what? He gonna give me more.
So what did I tell you about Russell Westbrook earlier in this show? He needs to turn into Manu Ginobili, because Popovich convinced Manu
to come off the bench.
Really kind of mid-career. You got to lead our shock troops, and he was the best at it. He would come in mid-first quarter and change the game, because all of a sudden the second unit was the shock troops, led by Manu, who played 1,000 miles an hour, often out of control, like Russ plays. But he would make things happen. He would change the whole tenor and flow of the game. Well, that's what Russ needs to do, but he's not going to accept that.
Exactly.
He's not going to swallow that.
Russ gonna come off the bench, Chris.
Yeah, hey, you remember when Melo was first brought up to Melo in OKC?
Right.
He was like, yo, P, they want me to come off the bench. I think that's how Russ would be. I think, look, and I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier, I also was stunned that they started DeAndre Jordan. I mean, when I saw them put that team out there, I was like, you got one shooter in Bazemore who's pretty good shooter. Now, obviously, LeBron was on fire.
Right.
And if that's really the new LeBron, I mean, then all bets are off. But I think he's going to come back to the mean, probably shoot 36, 37% from three. So I was surprised that they had so little shooting on the floor, but they were big, and that size can be a problem for teams. But I don't think they played big offensively, and so they couldn't guard. We know they've been a great defensive team, but they couldn't guard Golden State, which was much smaller, but there was constant player movement, constant ball movement. And the reason the Lakers were up early was just because Golden State was missing shots. It wasn't because of great Laker defense. It was because they were missing shots, and Steph really never got hot all night. And so if they're going to go big, then I think they need to play big and punish teams inside, wear them down, and things like that. Otherwise, put AD at the 5, which I don't think is a bad idea. LeBron theoretically at the 4, and go smaller so you can at least stick with these teams that are going to be constantly moving and shooting the 3.
AD definitely should have played the 5 last night. Now, you want to play somebody like Philly, and you want to put DeAndre Jordan to start the White House on Joel Embiid, so he doesn't eat up all the energy from AD. Okay, I agree with that. If you want to put him on balance, if you want to play Valanciunas, so they play a big like that, Skipper, you want somebody so they don't exhaust AD on the offensive end. Okay, I agree with that. But when you start Kevon Looney, if AD can't hold it on against Kevon Looney without getting tired, well, I don't know what to tell you.
So, Chris, back to your man and Shannon's man, LeBron James. You said he was very hot-handed. He was on a rare hot streak, at least until the fourth quarter. But I want to remind everyone that LeBron wound up taking 11 threes last night. Last year, he averaged a career-high 6.3 three-point attempts per game. That was a career high. He almost doubled that last night. And yet, when it was time to be hot-handed, when they had a 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and it was time for the King to take them home, he could not take them home, because I would like to show you quickly the 4 3-point shots LeBron missed at crucial junctures of the fourth quarter. Here's the first one, and this is to go up 5 early in the fourth quarter, and he misses. And then here we go with the second one. This is to cut it to 1. And then with 4:38 left, he's got another one to cut it to 2, and he misses all those. Then this one didn't matter that much. With a minute left, he could have cut it to 6. Never know. But he missed that one. So he reverted, as Chris said, to the back to the mean, like he went back to sort of who he really is, because he's a career 34.5% three-point shooter.
Well, you know when he had that headband on the Miami, he shot 40% one time from the three. I expect that to come back. You hadn't seen that headband in a very long time.
Every once in a while, he goes magical. He had one night in Miami, remember on a Monday night, he went against Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, you remember that? Who was in attendance? He's like, there's a new goat in town.
Well, it happens every once in a while, but it's rare. And then when they needed him to bring it home, the King played last night in the fourth quarter. He almost played all 12 minutes.
Right.
Okay?
Well, I told you you're going to be somewhere around
He
36,
can't
37.
fall in love with that three.
No,
He can't fall in love.
cannot. Unless you can stay in love with him.
Well, they dare us.
Right.
They don't believe we for real. They don't believe me and the three. They don't believe we for real, Chris. So what we supposed to do? We got to show them our love.
But I would rather, if you were guarding LeBron, Shannon, you'd rather him shoot the three than go to the hole.
Yeah, but I'm gonna play.
So
I'm
I'll
gonna
live
dare him
with
to
that,
shoot it.
you know?
But yeah, but I'm gonna dare him to shoot it. I'm not finna hug up on him so he can blow by me and dunk it.
No mercy.
Last night, the Astros exploded in the late innings to even the ALCS at 2 games apiece, set the table for a pivotal Game 5 with the Boston Red Sox. Coverage begins today at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Well, the Ben Simmons drama in Philly, it's taken another turn, and it's not a good one.
I think that Jeep's gonna go where I'm trying to go.
After he refused to participate in a defensive drill, and the team suspended the guard for tonight's season opener because of it. Joel Embiid did not mince words about his teammate afterwards. Embiid told reporters he hadn't talked to Simmons and, quote, "Our job is not to babysit somebody. And I'm sure my teammates feel that way as well." Chris Broussard still with us. Chris, what happens next here?
Yeah, well, let me start by saying this, Jen. I think Doc Rivers did the right thing. And I have no problem whatsoever with anything Joel Embiid said. I mean, you're grown men. At a certain point, it's like, man, forget you. We got a season to play. All right, you do what you got to do, but we going on. Here's what should happen. And I'll be the first to admit, I don't think Ben Simmons has it in him to do this. But what he should do is go sit down with Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers and say, look, I still want to be traded, but I'm going to put on a smiley face and go out there and play the best I can. I understand I've hurt my trade.
Come on, lady.
And I'm going to go out there and ball. And I want you in good faith to continue to try to trade me. I'm going to do my part by playing great on the floor. You do your part, please, by looking to trade me. Then meet with his teammates, apologize, say, look, guys, let's put everything in the past. I'm here now. I'm ready to ball. Let's go out and win some games. Then hold a press conference before he plays the game. Because if he goes out and
What are
just
you
shows
fucking
up
doing,
in the game,
lady?
the Philly fans, I think, will torch him. I've talked to several people down there, and they're like, man, Philadelphia fans will shoot this dude
this
up
fucking
if he
bitch.
steps on the court right now with all this going on. So hold a press conference before you play, and to me, be a man and say, look, I'm sorry for the way the last 4 months have gone. I was upset mostly with myself because I didn't play up to my potential in the playoffs. But I was upset that we lost in the second round. We shouldn't have lost that early. And yeah, I was upset with some of the things I heard after we lost from our organization, from our locker room, from fans. I was upset, but I didn't handle it the right way. All right, now I got to look in the mirror and I've got to just be the best player I can be because that's what I can control. And I'm going to go out there now and play my best and help the Sixers win basketball games. And when he is asked by the media, because he would be, does this mean, Ben, that you no longer are seeking a trade? You want to stay in Philly? Just say, I don't know what the future holds, but right now I'm a Sixer, and I'm trying to help the Sixers win as many games as possible. And leave it at that. And then go out and play because, guys, Ben has ruined his trade value. And I'm not, look, it's 30 teams. I'm sure somebody will take him. There are a couple teams I talked to that like him still and would take him. But there are other guys I've talked to from teams that say, look, I'm not so sure this dude isn't still stuck in a mental block. Like what we saw in the playoffs, how do we know he's still not in that space, right? And so he has to go out and show that he's over that mental block that we saw in the playoffs, and also his lack of professionalism is rubbing some people the wrong way. Because it's like, if I trade for him, who's to say he won't act up here? He won't do the same thing here. So I think that, again, I don't think he'll do it, but I think that's what he should do, because the only other choice is to just continue to mope and go through the motions. Because God, if he were to continue doing what he did yesterday, he's in danger of losing his money, because he refused to work. Like Doc said, look, get in, and he said no. So you're refusing to work now. So I'm not paying you if you refuse to work. So you're gonna have to play one way or the other. And so you might as well try to play the best you can and try to get your attitude in order so that you can up your trade value.
You know what, Chris, you're right. If I'm Ben Simmons, I call a team meeting. I say I want all the players and I want all the coaches to have this team meeting. And I'm going to go around, I'm going to play with Danny Green. I say, you cool, F you, Joel Embiid. You cool, F you, Doc Rivers. I said, now that we done cleared that out of the air, we good. Now, here's the thing. Let me ask you a question, Chris. How much did Doc Rivers help Ben Simmons' trade value by saying, I'm not sure we can win a championship as our starting point guard? Did that help or hurt Ben Simmons' trade value? When Joel Embiid said the turning point of the ball game is that when we had a shot for 2 and we ended up making 1 and they came down and made another shot, how much did that help his value? See, for me, I agree with you. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid is finally speaking his heart on what he truly feels and what he truly thinks of Ben Simmons. He told you that. He got angry. The angrier he gets, the more truth spills out of his body, Skip. And so for me, and I said this at the time it happened, I came out here that Monday after that Sunday. I said, this is up. This is over. I said, I understand athletes having been in the locker room, having been a pretty good player in a locker room. I understand we take the slightest. That's why you have to be so careful on what you say about a player in your own locker room. You had to be very, very careful. And the greater the player, the more careful you have to be. It's almost like you're stepping on eggshells when you offer explanation with what happened. You better take the onus on yourself. And don't mention the other player, because he's going to take it as a slight. Ben Simmons, in the video that we showed earlier, guys, Ben Simmons had, I don't care. I don't give a F about this practice, about anything going on in Philly. It is not a good situation. He's handled this very unprofessional. And that's not how I would have handled it, Skip. And I've made that abundantly clear. But to Chris's point, I don't know if he has the maturity right now. He's made it abundantly clear. This is not it wasn't a holdout. This is that get me the you know what out of here. I'm done with y'all. I'm done. Skip, let's just move this. Can we just move this on, Skip? Can we just move this on? Are you gonna take a
What the hell? Okay. What the fuck? I'm gonna stop the podcast. I need something in my. I have to say something to remember it here. Go to the podcast. Okay. Really weird. It's the pump stopped at like 13.6. No, it stopped at like, what did it stop at? The pump stopped at like a normal number, like 13. It's probably like 13.5, right? Or no, I think it stopped at 13.5. And I always put an extra like 50 cents or something. And you know, when you pull the trigger on the gas pump and it's near full and you're just trying to fill up that extra little piece of the filler pipe, it'll click. But that pump didn't click. It fucking flowed right out. Like I wasted 0.2 of a gallon. I for sure I wasted it. Just spilled it on the fucking floor. So I'm gonna do 13.7 on my MPGs because that I fucking what? I've never spilled that much gas before. That was fucking bizarre. So this might be a weird tank. I might have to stop filling it to the rim. Actually, because I always fill it till it clicks, and then I fill the filler pipe. The next tank, I'm gonna do the same thing. And if it happens again, then I know it's like my tank. Something about my tank. I don't know if that. Fuck, man. The car reeks of gas now. 13.7. We're gonna say 13.7 gallons, not 13.9. Holy fuck, dude! I blew like $1. Like, literally, I just like spilled $1 onto the ground there. And gas is only getting more expensive. Gas is getting fucking ridiculous, man. $14.13 a gallon for regular. It's costing me like 50 something dollars just to get to fucking work, man. Fuck. That's kind of bad. Low key, that's kind of bad, man. I really might have to invest in like a Chevy Volt for real. Even Chevy Volt runs on gas, maybe. Fuck, man. Realistically, I just need something with 60 miles of electric range, and that's it. 60 miles. I'm gonna have to talk to Juan, my boy Juan, who has a Volt, because his runs on electric most of the time, and I think it's like only if it needs it, it'll run the something like that. Only if it needs it will it run the motor. And Volts go for cheap. If gas hits $5 a gallon, I'm gonna tell my aunt, like, because I told her I won't sell the car, you know. But if gas continues to rise like that and it hits $5, I want something fucking electric. Straight up. Like $54. I'm losing a lot of money driving this far to work. I really am. I'm losing a lot of money. Fuck. Like, it doesn't make or break me, but it's like, because everyone has to get gas for work, but I don't think people go through a tank a week.